Anti-Galamsey Operational Secretariat, so that they can be directed exactly to where to go in terms of the anti-Galamsey fight. While we're fighting Galamsey, it doesn't mean that it's a free-for-all for everybody to get up. Anybody gets up, puts on a helmet, puts on a jacket, and says, I'm anti-Galamsey. They say, we're not looking for chaos. We're looking to do it, in a scientific manner, so that we do not hurt the whole of the small-scale mining industry.
So that's President John Mahama. Now, on the thorny issue of declaring state of emergency, President John Mahama dismissed the calls. Here is his explanation as to why he is dismissing those calls. This is still top story. We'll bring you that particular.
I've been reluctant to implement a state of emergency in the Galamsey fight because we've not exhausted the powers we even have without a state of emergency. We have the opportunity to arrest anybody, to confiscate such thing. The laws for forest protection and all that give us enough powers to be able to act. Implementing a state of emergency might sound nice, but it should be the last extreme, the last resort. So for now, let's exercise all the powers we have. And if it becomes necessary for a state of emergency, then we'll look at it. It means we have to go to Parliament.
Well, he also considered that the ban on excavator imports introduced to curb illegal mining was not followed. Well, so that's the president was meeting. Let's now listen to his take on why the ban on excavators was not followed.
With regards to excavators, we're enforcing the law that you must get the permit before the excavator is put on a ship. That is what the law has been, but it was not followed. And so they let the excavator land before they come and ask the Ministry of Transport for a permit. And so we've informed all the dealers that you cannot load an excavator onto a ship until you have gotten a permit. In the meantime, a lot of excavators have arrived at the port. And recently, somebody said they were being released at midnight to their owners and things. That's not true. What happens was there were so many that they had occupied a huge area of the port and congested the port. And so we found the land near Shy Hills, near the military installation. And the Field Engineers Regiment and others have been given charge to move the excavators from the port to that area so that they can free up space in the port. And they do that in the night because of traffic in the daytime. So in the night, they have the payloaders moving the excavators out of the port to the designated areas where they are supposed to be held. And before any of those excavators is released, they must be tracked, they must have a tracker on them, they must be registered by the owner of the excavator, and we must know the purpose for which the excavator has been imported. Because the construction industry also imports excavators, and so you cannot put a blanket ban on importation of excavators just because you think that every excavator is going to go into the illegal mining industry. Even the big mining companies that have licenses import excavators. And so we want to know who is importing the excavators, who it is going to. We want to be able to put a tracker on it and be able to trace that excavator wherever it is in the country.
President Mahama, when asked if Gold Board was also buying from illegal miners, gave this response, one that has since drawn public backlash as to how, or the sort of response that he gave to that particular question. Ghanaians wanted to understand whether or not Gold Board was buying from illegal miners as well. Listen to his response.
Definitely. There's no magic wand. The decay has eaten so much over the last 8 years that it's going to take a lot of work to be able to overcome it. And I didn't expect that in 18 months we would declare victory in the fight. As the livelihoods of about 4 million Ghanaians is on small-scale mining. And so it's going to be a process. It's not going to be an event. But we will not give up. We have a determination to get on top of it. The Gold Board was introduced as part of reforms. And if the Gold Board was not introduced, I mean, those who were taking the profits from the small-scale mining sector were the foreign traders who were taking that money away. In 6 months, we have exported over $6 billion. About $4 billion of that money was going to go into the private or foreign traders. And so the first thing is you shut the stable door so that the horse doesn't escape, which is what we've done. So if it's from illegal sources, it's from legal sources. At least it's our land that is being destroyed. So let us get the benefit of it instead of foreign traders. So that's the first thing. But if you go and read the Gold Board law, it has a requirement for tracking and tracing. And as I speak, the Gold Board is working with an organization to put on a track and trace system. And so they're going to see those who have legitimate license requirements so that they can assist them in responsible mining so that we can buy that gold off them. Once we do tracking and tracing, it's in our interest because then we can export under LBMA and we'll get more profit from exporting under LBMA.
Well, this is still Top Story brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies and also by Shield Pension Trust into the future with you. Now, the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey has criticized the responses by the president, especially to the questions concerning Galamsey. And my colleague Papani actually joins me in studio with a statement from the coalition. Papani, what are their concerns?
Well, Brace, this is the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. This involves quite a number of civil society organizations. So some of them include the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, the One Ghana Movement, the Ghana CSO's platform on SDGs, and then there's the CASA Initiative Ghana Stakeholder Engagement Forum, then also the General Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union, the Ghana Institution of Engineering as well. In this particular one-page statement, it says that headed that president did not inspire hope in dealing with Galamsey. In the body, it tells us that the president's statement on Wednesday, speaking at the presidential media encounter at Jubilee House on Galamsey, did not convey the urgency required in the fight to rid this country of unprecedented environmental terrorism. The posture, the group says, has downplayed the severity of the crisis, which has led to the pollution of over 60% of water bodies with heavy metals, the displacement of farmers both for cash and food crops, and the devastation of our forest reserves. His withdrawal of police forces and accusation that they cannot distinguish legal from illegal miners is misplaced. And this is the group saying. Now, it continues to say that the IGP's men, though not perfect, were fearless and had brought the situation under control. We challenge the presidency to name a single licensed small-scale mining entity that is mining responsibly on the ground. We welcome NIMOS, but have we resourced them sufficiently to deal decisively as needed? That's the question the group is putting to President John Dramani Mahama. It goes on to say that his statement that alternatives must be provided before chasing miners is compared to justifying and emboldening illegality. This is not the leadership expected for a country facing environmental suicide, contaminated cocoa export, and rising health crisis now and for our newborns. It ends by saying that we disagree entirely with the president on the position of government regarding calls for a targeted state of emergency as the circumstances that prevailed when he joined civil society to demand the state of emergency before his election as president have not improved. In fact, some of the indices have worsened under John Dramani Mahama. Now, they're saying that they're quoting what the Ghana Water Company Limited have been telling us over the last 2 days about the worsening water turbidity levels that has forced them in some areas to actually shut down some of their treatment plants. It says government handling of the Galamsey crisis is a disappointment to us all. And this government, they end by saying it is failing them as a group. Brace.
So that's by the coalition, the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey there. Let's do more on this particular story by bringing in Professor Martin Oting Ababio. He is the Forestry Commission's board chairman. Grateful to you, sir, for joining. Now, I mean, some time ago, we understood that government was able to retrieve some of the forest reserves that had been besieged by Galamseyers. As we speak, what's the situation? Kindly unmute so we can hear you, sir. I want to find out from you what's the current situation of our forest reserves when it comes to Galamsey.
Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, clearly now. I can hear you now, sir.
Thank you very much. So, if you recall, about 4 or 5 months back, it was reported that 9 of our forests had been taken over by tax. As we speak, all the 9 have been recovered, completely recovered, but I must say that there are, even though recovered, there are cases where we still have these guys occasionally re-entering the forest, which we are fighting them.
Yesterday, the president made us aware that there are 2 new forest reserves that previously had been reclaimed by the government, but Galamseyers have invaded again.
Yes.
These are when? Remind us again. And what are you doing to reclaim those forest reserves back?
So we talking about Ofi, Forest Reserve, and the one at Biniri. The name has just escaped.
Okay.
But the point is, I just want to put the whole conversation in a proper perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I chaired the 18-member committee by government to fashion out a proper way of mining. The committee is yet to submit a final report. And I must say that every word that came from the president on Wednesday was a factual truth. I'm surprised about the stance being taken by our friends from the coalition.
Why are you surprised?
Let me land, please.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Almost every member of the coalition visited my committee. We invited Ken Ashigbe. He was there. Your colleague from Erastus
Mm-hmm.
was there.
Senor Hossi.
In fact, almost Senna was not there. Nana was also not there. Rama was not there. But in fact, the point is that we've all sat down. We all agree that we couldn't fight the canker in that kind of wishy-washy that we used to do in the past, and that we needed to understand the whole story before we could actually fashion out. And I can say without any fear of contradiction that having gone through for about 6-7 months, we now have our way very clear. We know that the fight is not a small fight, something that gave close to 4 million livelihood to people. We need to be very tactical and find a possible alternatives before we can win the war. Because the occasional soup that we've been doing has not helped. It has not helped in the future, and I'm saying that it was not going to help this time too.
So you didn't know this when you were signing a social contract with Ghanaians, and you promised us that you will declare state of emergency when you win power.
So, my brother, it is only, I don't want to use the word, who would not. If you see the truth, you will not accept the truth. The fact of the matter is that a state of emergency goes through certain processes. If you can achieve the same target, remember, Even before 2000, a lot of people were we had guaranteed people entry into the forest. So once you sign a state of emergency, it connotes a lot of things.
So, Prof, hold on. On what basis did the president and the party, the opposition party then, call for on the government then, the Nana Akufo-Addo government, to declare a state of emergency?
On top of my head, they were not empowered then. They did not perhaps understand the nitty-gritty in the fight. That we should all accept. But now that we took power and we got to know what is involved, the magnitude of the challenge, then you are in a better place to fashion out a modus operandi that will not fail.
Prof, I appreciate your point, but has President Mahama been president before?
Of course, yes.
Was Galamsey happening when he was president?
It wasn't in this magnitude. The time that he was, the scale of the problem was not as he took over this time round.
But what magnitude? What magnitude again was the president not aware that Galamsey had attained when we here at Joy News were painting the picture of the devastation Galamsey was causing, on which the then opposition party made claims and persistent calls on the then government to declare a state of emergency and to act in the interest of Ghanaians to win the fight against Galamsey. And now the president is telling us, and you are collaborating, that now that you have a better appreciation of the whole menace, you cannot declare a state of emergency, really.
No, I mean, you have a point when you want to stress on that initial blab. But you were at Joy FM, has Erastus on the ground working for Joy FM. He appreciated the problem at the time. From the other side, we did not, if we want me to put it that way, know the magnitude of the problem as at that time. Now we know. Now we know those involved. At that time when President Mahama was president, people were not using guns to chase soldiers. No.
Okay, thank you. But stay with me. Let me bring in Erastus. Erastus, do I have Erastus as I don't call on the line? Erastus, do I have you? Okay. Erastus is on Zoom. Erastus, I mean, you've heard Professor Martin Obin Ababio, who chairs the Forestry Commission.
Oting Ababio.
Oh, Professor Oting Ababio. Erastus, do I have you? Can you unmute? So,
I'm here.
Great.
Yes, I'm here.
Great. So you've listened to Professor. He says, like the president said, now they have a better appreciation of the whole menace, and therefore a declaration of a state of emergency is not what they can do now. How do you react?
I don't think they have a better appreciation of the situation, because if they do, they would have appreciated that this is an emergency. When Prof invited me before the committee, I did a presentation, copies of which I still have, and I indicated back then to him the rate at which we are decimating our forest reserves, and that if it continues for the next 5 years, we will not have any tangible forest left. And so since that time when I did the presentation till now, how many forest reserves have been invaded? Quite a number of them. In fact, he puts the number at 9. No, it is not 9. 44 out of 288 forest reserves have been invaded so far. Some of them, half of it, have been turned into pits and gullies. The half we are talking about, that of Apamprama Forest Reserve, half of it is like the size of Kumasi. all turned into pits and gullies. Do you know how much it takes to reclaim 1 acre of forest reserve that has been degraded? $32,000. Multiply that by over 1,000. That is the cost we are incurring for generations unborn. And it's not like we are doing proper sustainable mining in a forest reserve. You see, the framers of our laws were so mindful that when you mine in a forest reserve, you could destroy the entire ecosystem. And that is why they said they cannot even give license to small-scale miners to mine in a forest reserve because it requires expertise.
Erastus, so out of these 44, how many have been reclaimed by the government? Because the president says 9 of them have been reclaimed, but they have 2 that the Galamsey have re-entered again. So out of the 44, how many have been reclaimed by
Sometimes
government?
when they put out these figures, Kojo, myself, I don't know what they want to achieve with it. Because we have 44 forest reserves. Because of time, I cannot mention all of them. But we have Tano Anya, Boyne Tano, Boyne River, Krokosia, all the others that we're talking about, Jimira extension, Offin Shelter Belt. Many of them, 44. There are some, one of them is in the Savannah region. Out of these, you know, they graded them into colors, depending on how many illegal miners and whether forestry guards are able to go there or not. Currently, as we speak, Jimira extension, Anya Futu, and then Offin Shelter Belt. We have macho men in there as we speak. As we speak, armed to the teeth, protected by party executives, destroying that reserve. It's not like they have a license and they are mining responsibly in that forest. They are just destroying it. And they are pocketing the money. Ask them, how much taxes are we getting from the destruction that we are supervising or superintending?
Okay. All right. Erastus, I'm grateful to you. I'm sure we'll do much more on this in our subsequent bulletins. But let me bring in Professor Mohammed Akudugu, who is a UTAC president and member of the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. Prof, you've had a president. You've had the board chair of the Forestry Commission. What's your take on what the responses the president gave you in terms of not being able to declare a state of emergency and his responses on Galamsey in general?
Yeah, good evening and good evening to your listeners. I think our view and our response is clear. As you see in the statement released, that we feel unhappy that the president responded in the way that he responded in terms of the declaration of a state of emergency.
But Prof, I mean, in the past, you threatened to go on strike if the president does nothing or doesn't declare the state of emergency. What will you do now?
Well, the UTAC is having its biennial National Congress on the 30th of this month, and I'm sure a decision will be taken at Congress.
Do you pick sentiment that members are calling for that if we had in the past said we'll go on strike if the state of emergency is not declared, do you feel that could be an issue now?
Well, I think all that we have been saying is that we want this fight to be won. And whatever has to be done for this fight to be won must be done. And members are very much concerned that no progress or significant progress is being made in this fight. And so declaration of a state of emergency, targeted state of emergency in the endemic areas is something that members are interested or support that it should happen. But of course, as I said, the UTAC is not like any other association where leaders can take decisions on going on strike or not to go on strike. It's the members themselves who have to decide by voting, and as you are aware. And so we have to go through that process for members to decide what exactly they want to do, given the decision of the president to say that we are not yet at that point that we should declare a state of emergency in those areas. But for us, we have gone past that stage because all the things in Mensah has been available to government have been deployed over and over and over again. There's nothing new. And so we should not wait until we are on the stretcher to be sent to the hospital. It's good that we go to the hospital when we can still walk ourselves and consult the doctor than getting to a point that is almost irreversible, then you now go to the hospital and the doctor cannot do anything about it. And so timing is critical. Time is of essence. And so if you wait and wait and wait for all the damage that is being caused to continue, and we all get poisoned, our food systems, our water bodies, and our forest reserves are depleted, as Erastus mentioned. We know what is on the ground. So if we continue to allow this wanton destruction of our environment and say we are still not there yet, when do we want to get there? When we are all dead? When we have to import water for the ordinary Ghanaian?
I'm grateful to you, Prof. Akudugu, for joining us here. He is the UTAC president. This has been Top Story brought to you by Telecel Connect Energies and Shield Pension Trust. Into the future with you. Up next is Newsnight.
In the next 60 minutes here on Newsnight, President Mahama stands accused of waging a campaign of political vendetta as a minority leader takes on the government for the continuous detention of the MPP Bono regional chairman.
One of my regional chairpersons, on just an act of misdemeanor, and he had been handcuffed and being pushed into Black Maria. We see it as more of politics than really ensuring that there is some accountability.
We'll hear from Alexander Afenyo-Marking, who has been tearing into President Mahama for impeaching former Chief Justice. Get to Tokonu also tonight. Education grounds to a halt in conflict-stricken Biniri in the Savannah region, leaving over 5,000 learners displaced and without access to classrooms or learning materials. In business,
IMF expresses support to proposals to increase utility tariffs from next month, describing it as a prudent move.
We have the latest from the world of sports for you. Plus, President Mahama says his administration is on track in the fight against corruption. Tonight, we speak to anti-corruption crusaders about efforts by the Mahama administration to prosecute over 200 corrupt cases. You want to stay with us for that and more here on Newsnight. And we start in Parliament tonight, and it was nothing short of a scathing critique of President John Mahama when the minority leader Alexander Afenyo-Marking met the UK's Minister for International Development, Baroness Jennifer Chapman, and other civil society organizations in Parliament. Now, he accused President Mahama of embarking on a spree of political vendetta. Now, and he today, in front of the Baroness, mentioned two examples: the detention and arrest of the Central Regional Chairman of the party, Kwame Bafo, who you know more popularly as Sabronya DC, and the removal of Justice Gertrude Tokonu as Chief Justice. Listen to him.
For instance, on the issue of justice, human rights, just yesterday I saw one of my regional chairpersons on just an act of misdemeanor, and he had been handcuffed and being pushed into Black Maria. These are things that I feel we don't need. It's a blot on our democracy. We don't need it. The excesses of institutions where government has to take responsibility for can be improved upon. And of course, we in the minority are not satisfied or happy with how the Chief Justice was recently removed. We see it as more of politics than really ensuring that there's some accountability. Of course, once we've been in office for 8 years, we expect that the new government coming in with its reset policy may want to investigate, and all is part of the politics, the democratic accountability. They must. But we also expect that the law will be applied in a humane way. So, for instance, if you are investigating someone, you ask the person to report, and he reports. You don't just handcuff the person when he has voluntarily come to you for investigation, and then you say, I have put a bail bond of, say, 50,000 on you, look for property before I release you. These are some of the challenges that we believe we can improve upon.
Let me bring in parliamentary correspondent James Aveji, who joins us on the line right now. James, this wasn't the press conference, was it?
No, Evans. So this was supposed to be, if you like, a diplomatic meeting between the Speaker and the leadership of Parliament, who were supposed to host the UK's minister as well as the civil society organizations, including the governor of the Bank of Ghana. The meeting, we learn, is a familiarization meeting for the minister to understand the works of Ghana's parliament, as well as other economic issues confronting the two nations. And so the speaker, first of all, acknowledged them and talked about the history of parliament over the years and some key collaborations between the two parliaments, both the UK and Ghana. And it was from there that he ceded the floor to the minority to also have a say or make a statement on the course of the day. We were expecting that the minority leader continue in that tangent. In fact, he heaped praise on the speaker about his leadership, saying that he has raised the bar that no one in recent time would meet in terms of his leadership in parliament, especially under the just gone parliament where we had a hung parliament. Then it was at that point that he deviated into some national issues, which he pointed out about those two issues, and saying that these are key excesses under this government that the President John Mahama must address in order to help maintain and grow the democracy that we've all had in the last 32 years. And this is how he ended that statement, no holds barred statement, in front of all of these executives and the civil society organizations, Evans.
For the past 30 years, it's become clear that both parties have had the chance to govern. I am a moderate politician. I believe that the excesses where the hardliners take the center and you take the pace when a government comes into office must be a thing of the past. I must admit that some of these excesses are happening in my time, in our time, our 8 years in office. Some did happen. But we cannot continue with a vicious cycle of you do me, I do you. There are key governance issues that I believe as a democracy we can focus on to improve on the lives of our people.
And James, did we get a reaction from the UK Minister for International Development?
For her, she appreciates the fact that in Ghana's parliamentary democracy, there is a room for the minority and the majority to disagree on certain issues, to come to a consensus, have a way through some of those things. And so for her, she's not too surprised, as well as the speaker. In fact, we were thinking that the silence created in the room when he was making this remark would evoke some sort of retaliatory speech from the majority especially. But on both sides, they have come to a consensus that some of these things will help grow Ghana's democracy, especially the parliamentary democracy, moving forward. So there's no surprise at all, Evans.
James, thank you very much. I want to bring in right now Haruna Mohammed, is a Deputy General Secretary of the MPP. Now, one of the issues that Alexander Fenyamarkin touched on in front of the UK Minister for International Development is the arrest and detention of the party's Bono Regional Chairman. As you know, he was remanded by a court of competent jurisdiction following some pronouncements he made. Haruna Mohammed is a Deputy General Secretary, joins us on the line right now. Mr. Mohammed, have you spoken recently to Abronya DC, and how is he?
Thank you very much. I'll say good evening to you, your cherished listeners and viewers on the social media platforms. Certainly, Chairman Abronya is being taken to destinations that we are not well aware and conversant with. I've tried as much as possible to get in touch with a lawyer when this program started, and I've not been able to get connected. But the last time we left in the courtroom, everybody knows that Abronya was denied access to counsel until we got to court, and there was no much things to be done when we met, and the case has been adjourned to tomorrow for reappearance because of misdemeanor. I know that the lawyer that is handling the case is from the law firm of Kojo Ponkroma, and I believe that when I get the lawyer, I'll be able to get the right information and accurate one to report on. But the party detests in all uncertain terms with the conduct of the police and the investigative body, with the way in manner Abronya has been arrested and treated, and even the vehicle that he has been put in based on the history of the Black Maria.
How so, though? We saw the comments that triggered the police action. That, from what I saw, clearly not conducive for public peace, which is exactly what he was charged with. What was wrong with that? He violated the law there on the face of it.
I don't know which of the comments, but people have made very dangerous comments than what is currently happening, even more than what he said. You heard that Al-Hadi Wahab, he mentioned that the minority leader, if he had met him, he would have killed him. Azoka mentioned the same thing. Kevin Taylor did worse to support the NDC. Even when he was hauled before court and was issued a bench warrant for his arrest, the Supreme Court, not any court, the Supreme Court says that this person should not be arrested. So I don't know why the law is being selective. And that is not the law we know. The law has to be the law, and it should not be selective.
But you do not doubt that the pronouncements that we all saw articulated by Abronya, of course, isn't one that is conducive for peace at all. In fact, it is offensive and can degenerate into something completely awful and violent, if you like.
Because unless you point to that specific pronouncement,
I saw him.
So that
I saw him one of the videos attacking the IGP, calling him names, insulting him generally, and the entire police institution. That's one I saw. I haven't seen any other.
Okay.
And if you listen to that, the police obviously believes that he has a case once out before a court of competent jurisdiction. He has to go to the court with his lawyers and prove to the court that what he did there wasn't one that was injurious to public order.
Did he call for the killing of the IGP? No. Somebody called that he will maim chiefs. Somebody said that they will maim chiefs, they will kill them. And the person is still roaming. Nobody has arrested the person. Even with the issue of bench warrant by a competent court of jurisdiction could not occasion the arrest of that person. Which of the IGPs have not been insulted before? Dampare has been insulted several times, and Dampare has not caused the arrest of any individual in this country. What stops the IGP to have a civil invitation of this gentleman for him to help even in investigation? Nobody is saying that the law should not work, but we must use the law in accordance with the procedure of what the law says it should be. We should not be selective and thinking that this person, because he's opposition, we can deal with him. This person, because he's in government, we have to leave him. But the crime has no expiry date. And any act of any government official or any officer of public or the state will be accounted for any day.
You're condemning, obviously, those comments we saw in Akwetia. I've seen that too, the one that threatens death on the minority leader. Those are clearly condemnable, and action must be taken on that. But do you also condemn Abronya DC for his comments?
If Abronya DC has insulted somebody, an insult becomes a crime in Ghana, because I've not heard Abronya DC say that when he sees the IGP, he's going to kill him. I've not heard him say he's going to kill the president. I've not also heard him calling to kill anybody. What I heard Abronya was the exercise of his freedom of speech. If he goes contrary and use certain words that are abusive, the police has the power of invitation for him to assist in investigation. But the case that we are talking about now is a call to kill. And we don't know whether the minority leader's life is still in danger or not, because the person has mentioned that they will kill him. Nana B's life has been in danger. Samambuga's life has been in danger. This is what they are saying. And this is the highest crime, which is treasonable. These are treasonable comments that we need to look at it, rather than to go and be looking at misdemeanor.
And I know
if you make a comment that is not palatable, we condemn it. But this is not the mood in which you should be treated as a citizen of Ghana.
So that there, you say you condemn it if it's not palatable. Do you condemn Abronya's comments?
I'm saying that if his comment, it is something that is not in good taste, we all condemn. But the action of the security on the manner in which Abronya is being treated like a hardcore criminal, it is highly condemnable. It's highly condemnable. That is not the way they are supposed to treat him.
You wrote a petition to the IGP on the death threat. Have you heard anything back?
No, we have not heard anything from the IGP. He was not even ready to sit down. He just had a preliminary comment when the Director of Communication and the team were there, and he promised to have some time for them to sit down and look at it. And up to today, there has not been any other official invitation with respect to looking at it. And there is no any request from them or a call to assist in certain investigation. Or maybe they are doing some work that we don't know because we have attached all the necessary videos to the petition.
Thank you very much. That there is the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. I want to hear from you on this, 05511119997. After this, we'll take you to Biniri and the Savannah region, where education is grounded to a halt in that conflict-stricken part of the country, leaving over 5,000 learners displaced and without access to classrooms.
Small money day, big money day, where too much money day. Telecel Too Much Money promo drop. If you dial *500#, then join them for the Telecel Too Much Money promo inside. You will win 100 Ghana cedis cash for the daily draws, 20,000 Ghana cedis for the weekly draws, then 1.2 million Ghana cedis for the grand draw inside. That be 1.2 million Ghana cedis. You for just reload airtime, then get points with it make you win. Make you dial *500# or go the Telecel Play up top. Then book inside riders give the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply.
Telecel, connecting energies.
This promo will be NLA way they regulate them for the Caritas Lottery platform top.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me da with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
No. You look so relaxed and cheerful these days. What's your secret?
No secret, Kofi. I just sorted out my retirement with Shield Pension Trust. You should talk to them.
Retirement? A small time before pension.
Sure. The earlier you start, the better. And Shield Pension Trust makes this so easy for you. They've got amazing plans to choose from. I even signed up for the Shield Cedi Crow a day personal pension scheme, which lets you save as little as 1 Ghana cedi a day towards your retirement. Isn't that great?
1 CD a day.
Exactly. And the best part is, I sign up automatically on the Dachia Promoting Plan, which guarantees me medical insurance when I go on retirement.
Hey, you've convinced me. I need to sign up now.
Kofi is making a move to secure his future and health insurance when he goes on retirement. What about you? Go to Shield Pension Trust or call us now on 050-915-0253 and we'll guide you through securing your pension tomorrow. Shield Pension Trust, into the future with you.
Announcing Ghana's first unlimited photocopier leasing. Yes, from just 983 Ghana cedis, you can lease a multifunctional photocopier and print unlimited. Yes, unlimited and free paper every month. Guess what? That's not all. Toners, repairs, and maintenance all are free. And oh, I'm not kidding at all. And we cover the whole country. Yes, the whole country. What are you waiting for? Just visit us at www.valexlease.com or call 0244 644048. I repeat, or call 0244 644048. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Valex Lease, affordable document management solutions.
Roverman Productions, for our 17th anniversary, brings you an original play by Uncle Ibo White. Voices in my head.
Rod, if you don't leave, I swear I will kill you.
Let me help you. Take this gun and shoot me because I'm not leaving until I am done.
You think I'm joking? Leave by the count of 3 or I will shoot you.
Even if you count to 100, I will still be here.
1, 2, 3.
Date, September 12th, 13th, and 14th. Venue, National Theatre. Time, Fridays at 7 p.m., Saturdays at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., Sundays at 1 p.m., 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Rate, 300 Ghana cedis. Available via Callback short code *365*535# or on the Rover app or at all usual outlets. For inquiries, call 050-554-6010. WhatsApp 050-554-6030. Sponsors, Koba and Gino Jollof Mix. Partners, National Theatre, Joy FM, Roverman Productions, 17 years of consistency and excellence. Roverman Productions, be the difference.
You're live here on News 90s on Joy 99.7 FM. Education has ground to a halt in Biniri, a conflict-stricken community in the Savannah region, leaving over 5,000 learners displaced and without access to classrooms or learning materials. With families fleeing the violence, children have been left without classrooms, teachers without learning materials, raising fears of long-term setbacks to education. Government 3 days ago instituted a mediation committee tasked with finding a solution to the conflict. We'll bring you details of the latest statement from that particular mediation committee on its work so far, including dealing with some misconceptions about its mandate. He's been clarifying that they do not want to deal with issues around land, which is really at the heart of this whole conflict. That shortly. But first, I want to take you back to the community and hear from some of the displaced school children calling for urgent intervention to deal with the challenges they're currently facing.
So anything I'm gonna have, to see I'm was all fire and maintain
And that is one of the affected students talking about the reason why he had to flee from the community to seek help and shelter elsewhere because of the conflict there. We know it's claimed more than 30 lives in that part of the country, and it's, as you can imagine, has affected a lot of lives, including that of the school children there, both in the SSS and the basic level. We'll hear from the Ghana Education Service pretty shortly, speaking to us about how they're dealing with the challenge that school children there are facing pretty shortly. But I want to bring in my colleague, Papani Ashale, who's joining me in the studio because we have an update from the Biniri Mediation Committee. They have a statement out, and Papa, this was inaugurated very recently, but already there's some controversy around its mandate and what it was set up to do. They found the need now to issue a statement to clarify that.
Yes, Evans. I mean, the conversation really has been that because of the major problem at the heart of the problem that you are trying to deal with. And the name of the committee, which says Mediation Committee, the assumption is that they are going to settle the problem, especially about the land. But if you look at the statement that they've sent in the first paragraph, the last sentence there says that for the sake of clarity about roles and responsibilities, the mediation committee is not planning to invite parties to engage in negotiations on any matter, including land. And that's where it ends that particular issue.
Okay, so if that's
role.
not what they're dealing with, what are they dealing with? Have they explained that?
Yeah,
and how are they approaching dealing with this more substantively?
So they give us an idea about what exactly they may be focused. It says rather, the body is actively engaging key actors, including the chiefs, elders, community leaders, civil society organizations, religious leaders, women and youth organizations, as well as other influencing voices of reason and preparation for bilateral stakeholder dialogues and a collective intercommunal dialogue. It will also focus on fostering healing and rebuilding intercommunal trust to enable the safe return of refugees from Ghana's borders with Cote d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso, as well as internally displaced persons to their homes. The return of peace that is sustainable between people who have coexisted for more than a century is the main focus for the committee, Evans.
And I see that it takes some time also to talk about the social media, but also general media commentary on this. And they have some admonitions to all of us.
Yes, Evans. It says that, the committee's hope is that everyone, whether individuals, organizations, or associations, are urged to refrain from public statements and sharing content on social media that might escalate tensions or undermine the ongoing peace efforts. Evans, there's also another one, two media houses that are being charged to help them with the work to try and de-escalate all the issues that is happening.
Well, last night at that media encounter, the president gave the following assurance on what he will be doing to assist the committee's work.
Visited yet. I have not gone there yet because I want peace to have a chance, but I've been pulling the strings. I sent a delegation to the Yegbonra to prevent him from leaving Damango and going to Biniri, which would have escalated the conflict. And he listened to me as a father, and he refused to go. I stopped the Bolera too from going there. We gave the chiefs an escort to go and see the place where the incident happened. And I think that that has lessened tensions. As I speak, we've given the security services the authority and the resources to begin to bring some of the displaced people back to their communities. And so we're going to work hard to make sure that we bring peace to Gonjaland. We need peace to develop. Our common enemy is poverty, it's not each other. Savannah is one of the poorest regions in the country, and so we must rather be fighting poverty rather than fighting each other.
And that's John Mahama yesterday at the media encounter. I want to bring in Daniel Afenyi. He's a PRO. He speaks for the Ghana Education Service. He joins us on the line right now. Hello, Daniel. Thanks for the time here on Newsnight.
Good evening, Evans. Thank you for having me.
A challenging incident there in Biniri, obviously, but it's affecting education for those young ones there. No fault of theirs. How is the GS dealing with this challenge?
In fact, let me agree with you that for any conflict that has impact on the lives of people, and especially our students, come to us deeply worrying because, we need a very safe, sound environment for teaching and learning to be very effective. And so if our students are not able to get such conducive environment to study, then we all get worried, most especially when their lives are at ransom at the moment. And that's the situation we face. We are recording serious instances where the lives of our learners are at risk. And for Ghana Education Service, what we normally do is that our ultimate interest is in the human life. So we normally close down our schools, make sure our students and our stakeholders, in other words, the teachers, the school leadership, and everybody related to the education landscape, get some safety before we even think of any other intervention that should be made available and accessible to our students.
So schools have been closed down, right, in that part of the country?
Yes, so that is the immediate reaction from the Ghana Education Service to make sure the schools are closed down, especially schools in very highly tense circuits. You know, in Ghana Education Service, we call it circuit. So inside the district, we still have circuits, and some of the schools in selected circuits have been closed down because that's where the conflict have been recorded to reach its peak, and the student lives are at risk. And so for now, that has been our reaction, and we are still studying the situation. We are still following it up. In fact, it is still an ongoing conflict. So our data collection is still ongoing. Our observations are still ongoing, still interacting with the district directorates who are on grounds, the school leadership, the regional leadership, collecting data every now and then to inform the decision that should be made going forward. But currently, as I talk to you, yes, the schools have been closed down. We are so much interested in the lives of our students, and we feel they should first obtain safety before we come up with any other thing.
Okay, yes. Thank you very much. And that there is Daniel Fenyi, is the spokesperson for the Ghana Education Service, still live here on News 90 on Joy 99.7 FM. When we return, Reality Check, we'll be hearing from anti-corruption campaigners. After we had this from the president yesterday, he was talking about what his government had done so far in the anti-corruption space. He says over 200 corruption cases are currently being probed, with 80 people interrogated. As assures anyone found culpable will be prosecuted. Okay, so the anti-corruption campaigners had him. How will they assess his last few months in power on the back of what he himself had said last night? Details of that and more after George is done with business. Hello, George.
Hi, Evans. And coming up in business, IMF expresses support for proposals to increase utility tariffs from next month, describing it as a prudent move. And World Bank disburses $360 million to Ghana to help government with programs aimed at stabilizing the economy. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information.
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office,
Takweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Temania Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast University Bookshop, Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic Centerpoint Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
At Star Oil, we believe fuel is not just a commodity, it is a lifeline. Every cedi saved at the pump is a cedi that helps a mother send her child to school, a farmer transports food to the market, or a young entrepreneur deliver their first order. Our mission is to make fuel more accessible by offering consistently competitive prices, helping ease the financial burden on Ghanaian households. In a country where transportation costs can consume nearly a third of household income, this is not just business. It's a social responsibility. Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuels for all.
Are you clapping? Are you giving God the glory? Hallelujah! Every day you wake up shouting, my business is not moving. Customers are not coming. But look, my brother, my sister, who are you deceiving? Have you smiled today? Do you have the confidence to smile? Your face alone is chasing people away. Yeah! We all know that the problem is not a spiritual problem. The problem is a dental problem. She was saying, use Pepsodent charcoal toothpaste to remove yellow. Somebody shout amen.
Craft your smile with Pepsodent Charcoal. It removes stains and whitens teeth. This advert is FDA approved.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere for everyone. Yeah, the luckiest. Luck is everywhere for everyone. Yeah. Money we define every day and night. Mama, dada keep on hustling for the family. The luckiest. Last time 712 hash. You can win some cash. You can be the luckiest with 1 CD. Luckiest with 5,000. The luckiest. The teacher, doctor, market woman. You can be the luckiest. Oh, the luckiest. Luck is everywhere for everyone. You can be the luckiest. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere for everyone. Star 712 hash. Luck is everywhere. Luck is everywhere. Oh, tell me, are you feeling lucky? Because I'm feeling lucky. Because I'm feeling like the ultimate. That how we go win. If I win, you win. You could be the luckiest. Saswabo. Sasso, si come tonton preko. Sasso, si come tonton preko. Edrana drumming every session. Yeah, how can see malaria? Minyame corn and Mensah so spray. Every mosquito study run away. Oh, come on, tonton preko. Sasso, mi se come tonton preko. Oh, come on, tonton preko. Sasso, come tonton preko. Nani shamne die edemo stronko.
This advert is FDA approved.
You welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the IMF has expressed its full support to our proposals to increase the tariffs from next month. The fund, however, maintained that this is based on the fact that the increase will go a long way to deal with long-standing financial challenges in the energy sector. Julie Kozak is Director of Communications at the IMF, and she has been speaking at a news conference in Washington, D.C., USA.
What is essential from our perspective is that any tariff adjustments in the electricity sector aim to address long-standing inefficiencies in the electricity sector. Importantly, that they support much needed investment in the electricity sector, and that they are aimed at also preventing the accumulation of arrears in the energy sector. More generally, we are continuing to support broader energy sector reforms, including private sector participation in ECG operations. And this is part of a broader effort to strengthen the performance of state-owned enterprises in Ghana and to reduce fiscal risks.
And that is Julie Kozak. She is the Director of Communications at the IMF, speaking at a news conference from Washington, D.C. Still on disbursement from the country's donor partners. The World Bank today disbursed some $360 million to Ghana to help government with programs aimed at stabilizing the economy. The disbursement, which was done today, is coming under the Ghana Second Resilient Recovery Development Policy financing, approved in June this year to support Ghana's post-COVID-19 economic recovery and long-term resilience. The financing will help restore fiscal sustainability, stabilize the financial sector, and reform the energy sector as well. Since these funds are coming in dollars, the Bank of Ghana will take it and will give the cedi equivalent to the Ministry of Finance. Now, President John Mahama has maintained that he thinks that the preferential trade deal for Ghana and other countries, that is AGWA, would not be reviewed at the end of this year. The trade deal allowed Ghanaian businesses to export to U.S. duty-free and is expected to end in September this year. But speaking to journalists at the Jubilee, President John Mahama said he doesn't see the deal being extended.
Countries like Africa enjoyed zero tariff into the U.S. because we were in the developing world. And so it was a concession that U.S. gave. And what you receive in exchange is soft power that, a lot of people have a good disposition towards the U.S. because the U.S. has been kind to Africa and all that kind of thing. But in comes President Trump. He has a more transactional mindset, and he says that the U.S. has been taken for granted for a long time. And so even countries like Ghana in Africa, he slapped a 15% tariff on us from zero tariff. And so AGWA is technically dead. It was due for renegotiation in September. There's no way with this 15% tariff AGWA is going to be renewed.
And that is President John Mahama. Now, government has revealed that the existing mining agreement will not be affected despite plans to review the lease and development agreements for mining firms in the country. Government is currently working to cut the mining lease from 30 to 15 years to the scrap development agreement. However, there are concerns about whether the current agreement with government will be affected. But speaking to Joy Business Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission, Isaac Tando said this will not happen. He's also been defending government's decision to review all these agreements in the mining sector.
Most countries across Africa have reduced theirs between 20 to 25. When we go to Kenya, it's 25, renewable not exceeding 50. Burkina is 20 years, renewable every 5 years. Ivory Coast is 20 years, renewable every 10 years. And then Mali is 12 years and maybe renew every 10 years. Take even the industry we have in Ghana now. With all the 60 mining companies that we have, just about 5 or 6 that have reserve that goes more than 50 years. Kaduna is one, Zijin, former Newmont Achim is one, Newmont is one, Anglo, Ashanti, Obuasi is one, and Golden Star Resources. All the other mining companies, their reserve is under 10 years. So what then gives us the feeling that the issuing at 30-year lease?
Isaac Tando is the acting chief executive of the Minerals Commission. Now, Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Clement Park, has reaffirmed government's commitment to providing affordable internet connectivity to boost digital education nationwide. He made these remarks at the EduTech Stakeholder Forum 2025 held in Accra.
Education technology is about more than just tools and platforms. It is about solving real problems, closing gaps in access, raising quality of teaching. By this, we seek to expand affordable connectivity and devices to underserved schools by working closely with telcos, the private sector, and communities. With this, we intend to train teachers at a scale in digital pedagogy while investing in localized digital content. We intend to ensure that no child, whether a girl in a rural area, a learner with disability, or a refugee, falls behind in the area of digital transformation.
Dr. Clement Park is the Deputy Minister of Education, and Evans on PM Express Business Edition. You're looking at the mining sector, gauging the perspective of the Chamber of Mines in terms of plans to review these mining agreements. What did they make about? How is the mining firms? How are they doing right now? Gold prices are hitting record levels. How is that impacting on the operations? We are engaging the president of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Michael Etemakafia. He's joining us on PM Express Business Edition at 9 p.m. as we talk about everything mining from the perspective of these mining firms and their concerns. It will be live on all our social media platforms. So, Evans, make a date, 9 p.m. on PM Express.
The right time to talk to him about the mining sector, because obviously they're making loads of cash. If you have money, the advice is buy gold.
I mean, they projected they could hit $5,000 an ounce before the close of this year.
Buy gold and hold it and wait. Anyway, good stall value. Thank you very much, George. And you want to join George at 9 p.m. later tonight. It's also across our many social media platforms. A few of your messages on our social media platforms tonight. Musa Abattoir says, Evans, the fact that we are practicing democracy doesn't mean anyone has a ticket for hate speech. The law is very clear on this, and if such unguided behavior is not curtailed now, we risk losing democracy in the future. Abronia must face the full rigors of the law to serve as a deterrent to others. Hashtag Newsnight. Kwabena in Accra says Abronia made an allegation that the president impregnated the wife of, it's not even worth repeating. Can he prove what he had claimed? He must answer for his recklessness. Henry says it's evidently clear that MPP is synonymous, he says, with violence. Honorable Kennedy Japan, and says others all have questions to answer. King says, I think that Abronia's comments were made as a result of comments made by Azoka during the Akwetia by-election. And Charles in Legon says, Mr. Fenyamarkin should remember what he said when Charlotte Osei was removed from office. A few of your comments there on our social media platforms. You're still live here on Newsnight, on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, it was just over the weekend when the General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Kwete, dropped a bombshell alleging that the party's picked intelligence that there are senior figures in the party who are striking deals, cutting deals with persons who had been billed to be prosecuted, persons from the previous government, so they can get a pass and intervene on their behalf. Well, yesterday, the president got an opportunity to respond to that allegation. This is what he said.
Missing one of the questions, and that is the accusation that there's interference in terms of the oral investigations. I would have very conveniently said the General Secretary himself is here, and so I'll call him to present his evidence to the public. But I can assure you that there's no way anybody can interfere. I cannot be in people's mind to stop them from attempting to interfere, but I am responsible for making sure that that interference comes to naught. And so I closely monitor. I hold regular meetings with the Attorney General. He briefs me on the status of investigations. And so I'm confident that, the cases will go ahead based on their merits.
And that's the president last night speaking at the media encounter. Also, he gave us an overview of his corruption fight and what he believes he's achieved over the period. He revealed that more than 200 corruption cases are currently under active investigation, with over 80 individuals already interrogated. That was what he had been outlining to us yesterday in that encounter. He explained that ongoing trials and pending charges reflect a broader effort to recover stolen resources and hold those responsible accountable. Ednam Senanu is anti-corruption campaigner. Joins us on the line right now. And I'm grateful for your time here on Newsnight. And let's start with that bombshell revelation that we had from the General Secretary of the NDC. The President was asked that question. Your General Secretary, in essence, says they know, and he's the General Secretary speaking on authority, that individuals in the party were attempting to cut deals with accused officials in the previous administration so they can get a pass. He says that can be true and that everybody else who is found guilty will be prosecuted. Were you convinced when you heard the President?
Well, I didn't follow him live, but yes, I've had the reportage. My view when I heard the General Secretary was that that's commendable. I mean, the political class tend to want to hide any such facts. If the General Secretary is saying that, look, we have this information and we are putting out red flags, I thought that's good because it tells us that they are keeping watch on their own. I don't know whether the President is fully informed about the state. I think perhaps he may want to confer with the General Secretary about what he knows. Indeed, my comment has been that the General Secretary may want to alert whichever agencies are mandated, depending on the specifics of the information, to follow up and perhaps send a much stronger message by holding people culpable. So the President doesn't always have all the facts. I guess that this is one space where they needed to consult amongst themselves.
And then he also gives us the overview when it comes to his government's fight against corruption in the last 8 months. He says 200 corruption cases currently being probed, 80 individuals already interrogated. How will you score him in the last 8 months?
Let me say that I've been impressed by the oral initiative. I have been delighted that he appointed an advisor on anti-corruption. That unit has done some very major convenings. We are currently in the last phase of completing the National Ethics and Anti-Corruption Plan. We finished NACAP 1. We are now moving to NIACAP. And it has helped, bring to the table some of the stakeholders who probably won't sit together without that. So that has been impressive. I guess the 280 is probably just referring to the ages and not cutting across what else is being done. And in that space, yes, there's some concern that the work is proceeding a bit slowly. My take is that when the rights and freedoms of people are concerned, let's make it slowly. Be sure investigations are done right, prosecution can follow, and then if somebody is held culpable, it was done right. But perhaps maybe getting other agents on board, because at the moment I gather that the oral cases are in the bosom of our AG. Perhaps bringing other anti-corruption agencies on board will allow for some more speed in getting results. It's only when we start seeing the results that we can now talk about some kind of assessment.
Thank you very much. And Edem Senanu is anti-corruption campaigner. So live here on Newsnight is on Joy 99.7 FM. And I want to stay with the presidential encounter a while longer. I want to break down what we had yesterday. And the president spoke on a host of things, not just corruption and galamsey. We've been trying to help you understand the full scope of what he addressed last night when he interacted with the media. My colleague Kenneth joins me with a breakdown of everything we know so far. How many questions were asked at the media encounter, and how were they distributed among the media houses, if you may?
Also, a total of 26 questions were posed by 24 media houses, and the GJA and TV3 were the only two organizations allowed to ask more than one question. They asked two in all. The other outlets asked a single question each, and these included major national platforms such as Joy News, of course, TV3, GTV, Adum TV, Angel TV, Despite Media, City TV at FM, and GH1 TV. International outlets including the BBC, Bloomberg, and China Media, as well as regional stations such as Rich FM, Mike FM, and A1 Radio, also asked some questions.
Let's talk about time allocation. I was there. It was obviously one that we're all keeping a close eye on.
Indeed, that was quite interesting because the entire duration was 2 hours, and the president spent about 30 minutes on his opening speech. Now, 29 minutes were also used in asking the 26 questions that came on board from the media. Now, on the answering, the president spent a total of 1 hour and 4 minutes to answer the questions. So, essentially, he spent on average 2 minutes, 46 seconds answering each question.
Let's talk about the themes when it comes to the questions that were raised. How many questions fell under each theme, if you like?
Yes, so the 26 questions fell into 5 main thematic clusters. One is the economy and trade. We had 10 questions coming from there, and they had issues on the city, electricity tariffs and subsidies, international markets, Ghana-China trade, jobs and unemployment, rent, and capital requirement as well. And on governance and institutions, we had 5 questions, and the topics included threats to democracy, the state of emergency, establishment of special courts, and journalists' welfare and safety. On infrastructure and development, we have 5 questions as well, which covered concerns around roads, the Tamale Yendi water project, the Pualugu multipurpose dam, stadium management, and airports. On media and society, we had President answering 4 questions. On natural resources and the environment, 2 questions were asked, and both focused on illegal mining, and they were raised by representatives from Kesben FM and Joy News. And our checks show the economy dominated the encounter, which accounted for roughly 40% of all the questions.
I want to bring in Professor Echesi Kanku, Associate Professor of Political Communication and Media Studies at the UNIMAC, joins us on the line right now. Did the media encounter meet your expectation?
Yes, Ivan, thank you very much. It did meet expectations to a certain extent. Of course, there's always room for improvement, but by and large, I think it lived up to the bill. Remember that we've come quite a distance. When we started this, analyzing and evaluating these presidential encounters in 2016, the questions were not as relevant or as high in terms of the quality of the questions as they are today. And so I think by and large, there has been some improvement in terms of the quality of this event, its organization, and its relevance.
And you, of course, you are in a journalism institution, you're a professor there, so assess the performance of the journalists. We'll come to the president pretty shortly.
Right. For the journalists, the fact of the matter is that these press conferences fulfill certain fundamental tenets of democracy. At the end of the day, what we are trying to do is to have a democracy that is answerable to the people, a democracy that meets the needs of the people and works for the people. And one of the major tenets of it is accountability. And so the journalists have that responsibility to ask the relevant questions on behalf of the people of Ghana and for the president to be able to provide those answers. So if you now talk about the quality of the questions or if the performance of the journalists, what criteria or upon what basis are we evaluating them? We have the news values, which lie at the center of this profession, so basic, so fundamental to determining the work that the media or the journalist does. What are these news values? The questions, and these news values should guide our evaluation, right? So in terms of the impact of the question, the relevance of the question, the timeliness of it, whether the question touched on issues of national debate or public interest, if it was a topical issue, issues of conflict, because conflicts have to do with human life, right? So those issues need to be addressed. So in terms of those values, the prominence of the issue. Then in terms of the structure of the questions, the specificity of it, and the nature of the question, whether it's a double-barreled question or not, and the clarity of the question.
Yeah, I mean, and thankfully, I'm talking
Right.
to a prof, so you are very familiar with giving marks based on assessments in class. So watching what transpired yesterday, give me a score for the journalists quickly, because in the interest of time.
Well, I don't know. It's not as simple as just giving a score, but I think that we saw a couple of top-notch questions being asked. We also think that some of the questions that have to do with human interest issues, utility issues, the questions about the rent, about, of course, Galamsey, the intervention by the BOD, whether that was something that was happening or not, oral and all of that. So,
bottom line, overall, you were satisfied.
And so I think that overall, it was definitely above average. We'd probably give them 80 to 85%.
Okay, thank you very much. This is Kanku, and that's it for News Night tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Lexis Bill is up next with Personality Profile, and Giorgio Pariado is his guest, Youth Development and Empowerment Minister. Stay tuned.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah. Money we define every day and night. Mama, dada keep on hustling for the family. The luckiest. Last dance, everyone to hash. You can win some cash. You can be the luckiest with 1 city, luckiest with 5,000. The luckiest, the teacher got the market woman. You can be the luckiest. Oh, the luckiest. Luck is everywhere for everyone. You can be the luckiest. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere for everyone. Stars everyone to hush. Luck is everywhere. Luck is everywhere. Oh, tell me, are you feeling lucky? Because I'm feeling lucky. Because I'm feeling like the ultimate. That's how we go win. If I win, you win.
You could be the luckiest.
Roverman Productions, for our 17th anniversary, brings you an original play by Uncle Ibo White. Voices in my head.
Rod, if you don't leave, I swear I will kill you.
Let me help you. Take this gun and shoot me, because I'm not leaving until I am done.
You think I'm joking? Leave by the count of 3 or I will shoot you.
Even if you count to 100, I will still be here.
1, 2, 3.
Date, September 12th, 13th, and 14th. Venue, National Theatre. Time, Fridays at 7 p.m., Saturdays at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., Sundays at 1 p.m., 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Rate, 300 Ghana cedis. Available via Cobra short code *365*535# or on the Rover app or at all usual outlets. For inquiries, call 050-554-6010. WhatsApp 050-554-6030. Sponsors, Cobra and Gino Jollof Mix. Partners, National Theatre, Joy FM, Roverman Productions. 17 years of consistency and excellence. Roverman Productions. Be the difference.
KB, yo. Hey, KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, cause hope day.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
Calling all food lovers. The Accra Food Festival returns this September 20th through 22nd at Place 100, the cleanest, greenest, most elegant park in Accra. Located on Independence Avenue in Ridge, directly next to the College of Physicians and Surgeons. Bring the entire family to enjoy a long weekend, sampling and purchasing small plates from the best local and international food, drinks, and lifestyle brands in town. There'll be live entertainment and fun for all ages. Tickets are 50 Ghana cedis per person, under 5 and over 65 admitted free. Skip the lines and purchase tickets in advance on Ego Tickets. The Accra Food Festival is powered by Multimedia Ghana, Melcom, Merben Capital, and Belacqua. Follow Accra Premium and Accra Food Festival on social media for more.
Ghana, are you ready for something spectacular? The stars are coming. Saturday, 30th September 2025. It is Stars and Perfect Walk with the Stars. Come walk side by side with your favorite actors, musicians, sports and media personalities as we promote healthy living, fitness,